Is it still morning? I don't even know. What day is today?
It
I don't
is,
even know.
yeah. It is morning. I still don't see anything. It says, hold on, redirecting.
Oh yeah, meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. It's working. That's
I
what I
think we
see.
are on.
We're
Hello,
on. Hi,
everyone.
everybody. Yeah.
Hi,
No.
my name is Araceli, and I'm a transition financial specialist and real estate investors. I'm here with Colette to give you the May 2020 real estate and finances update. How you doing, Colette?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm gonna introduce myself because you always remind me to do so.
Yeah.
My name is Colette Rabba. I am a residential real estate broker. You can see my on this side. Woo! There's my logo. I work West GTA, and I love what I do. I think I have a background in decorating and design. I could go on and on and on, but I love talking about real estate, and that's why Araceli and I are here, because we want to keep everybody abreast of all of the exciting things that are happening in the real estate world and in financial world. So we all know we're all in transition right now, and that's why we're here. We're here for you.
Yeah, that's right. Just to see if you have any questions whatsoever. And I have good news. Today I did, after the COVID and the lockdown started, today my very first sale, non-face-to-face, all of it, paperwork, going back and forth with the client. It was very exciting. Yes,
Yay!
it's a very good day. May 20, 2020. So Colette, tell me what has been going on in the last week. What things have changed in the real estate world in Ontario?
Well, we actually have something in common, because I had my first COVID sale as well.
Wow, perfect.
Yeah. So it was very interesting because, it wasn't that different than a regular sale. Most of the real estate transactions are online anyway. All the paperwork is done, through DocuSign or whatever other sign.
But you have a lot more contact with your clients, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like, when we go show houses, like we walk through houses, we touch everything. So that was a little bit different. Most of the process is usually I send them listings, they see houses online, like pretty much everybody goes to realtor.ca, and then they call a realtor and then say, hey, we'd like to see this house. So that's all pretty much the same, but then it's getting actually more streamlined, which I'm really happy about, because my clients are paying attention to when I say, here, you see one house and you use it as a benchmark. So
that's right.
Sizes, location, if you want a 2-story versus a 1-story, the age of the house. So all that stuff is actually better. But it was actually very, very nice. And you can't know if you like a house until you see it. I'm sorry, that's just, might be old fashioned thinking, but I know,
you know what? I can't buy anything right now because I can't see anything.
Well, yeah, if you're going to the States, we have to wait for the borders to open. So
yeah.
I got to convert you. You got to buy in the GTA. Come on, girl.
As soon as the prices go down more.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, everybody wants to know, are the prices going to go down? So we were talking earlier about, there was an article today about condo sales dropping.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, nobody has a crystal ball, not even me.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying before too, in the last episode or a couple episodes before that, what I think is people will, especially the ones that are underwater already financially, they didn't use your services.
Yeah.
So they might be sweating it a little bit. And then the first thing to go is the biggest expense, which is usually mortgage. So if there is a flood on the market of properties and not a lot of buyers, then of course the market is going to change into a buyer's market, then prices will drop. Can't guarantee that's what's going to happen, but with condo sales, it seems like it's already started. I was predicting it was going to happen more like in July, August, but if it's already starting, then it's, it's a little bit scary to think that it depends on the sector too, right? So condos, those are usually first-time home buyers. They might not, they might be really living paycheck to paycheck. And then you might see on the other end of very high-end homes that there are these executives that the businesses are closing down.
Yeah.
But I do want to believe that Canadians are a little bit more conservative, and most Canadians have savings, and they can dip into their savings to pay over the next few months to sort of keep their family and their home safe. But one thing, what I really, really like, what I found with this process that we just did a couple days over the last few days, is that we bought this house because it was vacant.
Okay, so that is, it makes it easier.
Oh my gosh, so much easier. And then that way, as a seller too, if you know where you're going, it just expedites the process, because if the listing is vacant, somebody's already moved, they're already fine where they are, and then they put the house on the market, it can be cleaned, it can be empty. And you know, it happens more in the States that you see more houses that are vacant already, and it doesn't usually happen in Canada, because Canadians, or just in Ontario, I always find that people don't move until they know where they're going.
Where they're going, yes.
And they can't afford it. They can't afford to carry 2 houses even to bridge mortgage for a couple months.
Correct. Well, now I think it's going to be even riskier, because if you're moving to another house and now you have to carry another mortgage, you don't know if this is going to sell quickly.
Right. And the bridge mortgaging, if people don't know what bridge mortgaging is you have to have a sale on the other house to have that. So there's a timeline with it when you have a bridge. So it's not like so technically speaking, the people that can afford to move before they sell are people that own the house outright.
Yeah.
So all their carrying costs are just their taxes and their whatever utilities are being used. The house is vacant. It'll be very interesting to see how many more people, and if I can recommend that to any listing sellers that come to me, I will say, hey, you know what? Your house will actually look better and sell faster.
Faster, yeah. Well, are you still doing, what is it?
Staging?
The staging, yes. Or are you just completely vacant with no furniture?
Well, that's the question, right? So, I personally really enjoyed walking through the empty house. And it's kind of funny because I love staging too. It's not that I don't like staging. The problem with staging is that they're all starting to look the same. Like I know when I look at a house in the pictures of a house, I know it's staged. I know it's staged. So it's almost like you want to be a little bit different. So when I see a vacant house, there's hardly any vacant houses that have 0 furniture.
Yeah.
So to me, when we looked at that house, and it's the only thing what I find with buyers is that they can't imagine their furniture in the house. So there's also virtual staging. So a lot of people are doing that now too, where they can superimpose the furniture into the space. So you get a sort of sense of how big the space is. Yeah. But other than that, I kind of really liked having the open space and not having that kind of preconceived notion of somebody's taste.
Yeah, right? That's right. Because sometimes it's nice, but sometimes it's not. They're not your colors. I prefer to have the house vacant myself, because you can see, the possibilities. Can you open up a wall? Can you change the kitchen? All of these things that you don't see when things are in the way. Exactly.
So, but a lot of people are very visual, and they want to say, where's the TV go? Where does the couch go?
I am very visual, but the thing is, I'm an investor too. So when I go and look at the house, I'm not looking at the furniture. Right. I'm just looking at how the house looks like, and how I can convert, how can I add value to it, so I can sell it for more money.
Exactly. Right. So this house was beautiful. They did everything right. Nice. Everything was newly painted. It was super clean. Honestly, my clients can move in like that. There was no big issues. So you're exactly right. I would rather have a house that looks like that. No furniture. I can see the floors. This is what you're buying. You're buying the floors, you're buying the walls, you're buying the ceiling, you're buying the light fixtures, all the appliances. So I think they really lucked out in this case, because the house was just meticulous. And they loved the location, and they love the. So that's the thing, when it's this magic kind of serendipitous thing. Oh my gosh, that's like my favorite kind of deal, because everybody's happy, and you know, the client moved out. She wanted I asked the agent, the client moved out to be closer to her grandkids. So it works out perfectly. So when it's that kind of situation where you're everybody's serious, you're not showing the house to buyers who are just sort of, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll like it, maybe I not. So
well, maybe that is going to change for you too, you know, because if you had people that weren't really serious about buying, now, because now you're going to take them through a virtual show, it might make people think as well, you know, I don't want to do this unless I really have to buy or I'm ready to buy.
Exactly. Exactly. And the other thing too is on a normal situation, I personally don't work with anybody who isn't financially ready. So if they don't have a pre-approval, then I say, you know, you get that first and then work with me, because it is serious. This is not, you know, I'm not a tour guide.
Oh, absolutely. You know, so, I have to tell you this because I have talked to so many agents, realtors, brokers, whatever. And what they tell me, all of these stories about people going into the agent and says, I want to buy this, but they have no idea how much they can afford. They might not even know how much money they have saved for the down payment. I've heard it all the time. And my question is always like this. They always leave their financial advisor for very last. I don't know why.
The other way around.
It should be the other way around. So talk to your advisor, make sure that you're ready, that you understand what it's involved, right?
Right.
And, to get the property, and if you're going to be ready, and then go and talk to your mortgage agent, and then talk to your realtor at the end. But it seems to be backwards all the time for some reason.
I know. No, it's true. And the other thing too, like whenever it's not just about being able to afford the house, but also, you know, if there is some money that, you know, they can do purchase plus improvements.
Yeah.
Where is that money coming from?
Exactly.
Like, why don't you figure that out financially first? Because they're even though I say that this house is move-in ready, they might want to paint, they might want to change out a toilet or some kind of.
There's always, you know what, when you get into a house, there's always something, either a window, even the curtains are so expensive, right?
Well, and we even have to go through the inspection first. So now, if the inspection comes back and there's some issues and the sellers don't want to do anything about it, then they might have to say, okay, well, we want to change whatever it is, the roof or whatever it is. So that's an extra expense that you really don't think about.
For sure.
Your focus is, I'm going to buy something, which is fine. But then why? And that's why I was saying about Canadians being conservative. Like, that's why you talk to the financial advisor first, because they will set you up so you don't have to worry about it. When you purchase, you'll have that contingency, you know, to say, okay, I have this extra money. This is what I'm going to do with it. If I need to do it, I can move it over here. If I don't need it, then I'll put it in an RSP, or that's what you are for, Araceli. Like, talk to these people.
I'm trying really. I'm doing my best to give people awareness. For some reason, a lot of people still have that stigma about finances, that they don't really want to talk about it. But it's like going to the doctor. If you don't tell people what hurts, they're not going to be able to help you.
That's a very good analogy. I like that. It's just
that simple. You know, if you say, you know, I have a broken leg, but you don't tell me, obviously the doctor is going to say, okay, you're fine, right?
Right. But it's also like, it's the fear. And once you talk to someone and you alleviate the fear, it's not as bad as you think it is.
No, believe me.
Amazing. Yeah.
I talk to so many people, and when I engage them and they become my clients, they say, oh, wait, it wasn't that bad. Right. Well,
right. It's what do I always say? It's the unknown. That's the fear.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, knowledge is what makes us not fearful. So we have to talk to you.
Yeah. Please talk to me. No. And now I think, you know, people that are starting to get used to the format of being online, right? I think people are more receptive to say, okay, you know, maybe I should do this now. Right. Because we don't know how long we're going to stay like this. And I think even if anything goes back to whatever normal is going to be, a lot of people will remain with the online format.
Yeah, I agree, because it, again, I think with your business too, it expedites the process, and it might just
Absolutely.
be, you can do this. And this is the other thing too. I mean, I'm used to it. I work pretty much 7 days a week
Yeah.
because that I have to run when my clients say run. So,
Yep.
which I'm fine with. That's what I chose. This is my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But with online, I think that's something too that we have to talk to our clients about parameters to say, look, I'm still working, a 9 to 5 day,
Yeah.
let's just say, but I get texts, I get calls at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And especially if it's an active deal, oh my gosh, sometimes I'm up really late into the next day. But it's one of those things where if your clients expect that, they'll call you all the time. I'm not answering my phone like after 9 p.m. I'm sorry.
Huh.
If
Of course.
if it's an active deal or something and it's an emergency, of course I'll answer.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of one of the things too that we have to really explain that to clients too moving forward, to say, okay, look, you can call me anytime, but I might not answer. I might not
I
respond.
might not answer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I might have a glass of wine in me and maybe I'm not going to answer the right way. So things like that. We just have to educate, and really explain ourselves to other people moving forward.
Yeah.
Because this is a new world for everybody.
For sure. But I think I totally agreeing with you about Streamline. Even like the appointments that I'm having with clients right now, they're more focused. I think that they're more respectful of the time, because maybe they think, oh my God, I don't want to be in front of the computer for this long. Let's just get to the point and let's move on with this, right?
Right.
Which is, it makes it easier for me as well. For
yeah.
everybody. So I think we are just adjusting. So this period of time, it really is making us aware of what we're doing. So
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, everybody's sort of, figuring it out. But if we can be ahead of the curve to say, look, we're already offering this. We already know.
Yeah, exactly. So, and basically that's what we are here to make people aware that, we've been working very hard to convert our businesses online. So we're ready when people are coming to us.
Yeah. And don't be scared. Ask us stuff. It's okay. Yeah. We like
Well,
questions.
That's exactly why we're here, because, we're constantly looking at what is happening in the market, whether it's the finances are in real estate in the U.S. I cannot tell you all of the U.S., but at least where I buy, which is in Ohio, things are pretty steady right now. They have a lot of medical.
But are things coming up on the market? Do you find
the sector is medical. Houses are moving pretty quick. We sold 2 houses, one in April and one in May.
Wow.
And it was full price, so everything went well.
Yeah.
So the market is still moving. We're in touch with realtors in the area, and everything seems to be moving pretty okay. But we don't know because, people were affected in their houses or in their jobs. It's still
what about
just a trickle effect, right? When you get affected, maybe they have a little bit of savings, but then after that, if they cannot find another job, then things are going to start going, like you just said right now about the condos, right? We're just seeing it right now.
What do you think of the political climate in the U.S. too? The whole Trump thing too. I think that's sort of something that, I've heard so many conspiracy theories about that. And if there's going to be an election in November and, what do you like, again, I know you don't have a crystal ball either, but what do you think might happen? Do you see any kind of, upheaval or anything like that?
It could go either way, to be honest, because what happened is that when Trump got elected, a few years ago, everybody thought that the economy was going to change.
Yeah.
And for the worse, but it actually was better.
Yes.
So right now with this, the second term, and if he gets reelected, it could go either way, right? Like people might say, no, we don't want him anymore. But if he gets reelected, then things will go down. Or maybe he has another plan, and like he's a business person. So even though a lot of people don't like him, but he is a business person, and he is a big real estate tycoon. So how he is going to be affecting as a business. In fact, like I did not see anything that really affected our business when it comes down to real estate, at least in the state that we're in. But, now with adding the COVID and maybe something else that comes down the line. We don't know, right? How is that going to affect politics? But
yeah.
So
well, I know it's really interesting to see, and especially that when you're not there.
absolutely,
So
that is one of the things that we're really we're just waiting.
Oh my gosh! Well, because don't you have one to start working on it?
I
right?
have 2 properties still there that I need to start rehabbing, and I can't do it until I'm there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would make
because there's decisions to make, and
yeah.
We're old-fashioned that way when it comes down to properties. I still like to see the house,
you want to pick
touch
the
it,
finishes and the contractors and make sure
absolutely, because you know what, a picture,
properly.
no matter what it is, it's not the same than being there.
Oh yeah, I feel for you, sister. I know,
yeah.
that sucks. I'd be pulling my hair out.
Yeah.
And then, so when you do buy an income property, that's the thing. The other thing too, that Araceli and I are both investors and real estate property investors. We're doing it a slightly different way. I'm a big fan of Airbnb. I think there's a lot. I actually just got a statistic yesterday that there's still, I mean, regardless of COVID, there's still such a growth with Airbnb and rental properties like that. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I think it's still, like, for me, I don't have a crystal ball, but I tried, I have one property that I was very successful even out the gate. Now, because of COVID, even though I'm renting out a whole house, it's not an Airbnb where it's a shared space, but it's a whole house. Even that, I still have people, because the people that are coming are families or friends that, they're not living together. So those are the people that are canceling right now. But I have July and August, my place is booked. So
I think that's nice.
I know, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen because of the restrictions. So even saying that, I have hope that, Airbnb is still going to be a thing, that the properties itself, like, it depends on, there might not be as many shared properties anymore, but properties like mine where it's a totally separate.
I think that's I was going to say that, because your place is not shared, then people have less
worry.
Worry that going there.
Right. And surface cleaning is a little bit different than, being face to face with other people. But the cleaning protocol too obviously has changed. And I think it's changed with showings as well. So that's why when the house is vacant, it's just a little easier, because I personally, if I sold my house, I would absolutely move out first, because I don't want people to bring in germs. Yeah. So never mind, those people are being exposed to my germs in my house. It's my house. It's that whole thing of saying, okay, I don't want strangers to come and sit on my bed, or, or just touch the handles, or, touch the light switch. So things like that, if we really want to be nutty about it. So, sorry, I just wanted to mention something too. When I did go show the house, I had my gloves on, I have my mask on, I have hand sanitizer. I take I have one of those Lysol wipes with me in my hand. And as I open the key, I use the Lysol wipe. I go in the house. I tell my clients, put your hands in your pockets. Don't touch anything. I will turn on all the light fixtures. You guys can touch your phone and take photos if you want, but don't touch anything in the house. Take your shoes off. So no outside dirt. Yep. So there is a little bit of protocol, but I don't know if everybody else in the industry is doing that.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is going to become kind of like the norm for you to do that, right? I've seen some of those shoes that you can put on top of it, like a cloth shoes,
the
right?
Sleeves, the booties or something.
The booties, yeah.
Yeah, so even something like that where you're just touching your own stuff, it's okay. But that's the whole thing with any industry. You don't know how other people are doing it. So if another realtor came in after me, they don't know if I wiped everything down. But same thing with the Airbnb, or if you're showing a tenanted property, it's the same kind of thing. If you can't do a virtual tour, or they don't want to choose the house by a virtual tour, then absolutely you can say, I'm leaving the Lysol wipes here. I'm leaving hand sanitizer at the front of the door. Please make sure you don't touch anything. All the lights have been turned on for you. All the doors are open. You do not need to touch anything in the house. And then you have to kind of trust that they're going to do that. It's human nature. We're all, touching everything.
I know,
So,
but you know what? I think that we are all going through that transition into being aware of what we are able to do or not.
right.
And especially in these cases, right? Going to a different property, touching yourself. I was in another meeting Tuesday, and I created my own mask, right, with fabric.
Yeah.
And so this lady was saying that, it is really pointless to use something like that, especially if I have it in my pocket. But if I don't have it in my pocket, I will forget it. So I don't know, right? So, and I says, okay.
But why did she say that?
Well, because it says that when you touch the mask and the outside of the mask, it's already contaminated. So you cannot use it again or put it in your pocket, which already has germs.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that because,
my point is that if I put it on, I can still, when I go inside the store or somewhere, I am not in direct, coughing or anything that you do, right? So you're prevented. But according to that, it says that it's not good, that it says I'm defeating the purpose. So I don't know.
Well, I think for me, when I use a mask, it's for me to not touch my face. So even though like my nose is itchy or something, so the mask is a barrier for myself, never mind airborne stuff. And if it's germs in your pocket, I don't know. I think that's kind of...
I don't know.
I mean, and I've come from the food industry, and I know people would leave Kleenexes in their pockets all the time, and then they would use their gloves and then wipe their nose. So I know that's human nature to sort of not pay attention. Everybody thinks they're not germs. It's not their germs. It's everybody else's germs they have to worry about. So I think that's just something that we have to also get used to. And honestly, what's the next step? That we're all going to be wearing like full on like helmets?
I don't know, maybe like a spacesuit, right?
Well, that's it. I'm a big fan of Star
Wars.
Wars,
so maybe we're all gonna be like, and everything when you go out, so you don't really touch anybody or anything.
Okay, the next meeting, I'm gonna wear my Darth Vader mask, and then
just have like a big mask.
The whole line.
Yeah, so we're protected. So.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that.
So no, that would be funny. I don't think we need it when we're on camera, but anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, but the thing, can you imagine if we all wear, and you look at guys, or not guys, but people wearing their helmets when they're motorcycle, they're out on their motorcycle. So even things like that do already exist, but are we really going to get there? Is that going to be something that we have to even, think about? But
only time will tell. But I can tell you one thing that we notice when we're in Ohio. Ohio does not have a law to have a helmet when you are on a motorcycle.
Wow, really?
Yeah, we've seen it so many times, and every time we see it, it's just, oh my God. It's this person, if it goes down, and some of them, they just wear nothing, like just a little shirt with no sleeves. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, but you know what? That's personal safety. So if you think, okay, you're gonna like splash your brains out on the road versus somebody sneezes on your face, like it's pretty much you have the same outcome now. It's really crazy.
I think that you get a ticket here if you don't know wearing a helmet if you are on a motorcycle, but there nobody wears a helmet, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But the states are the same with the gun laws too. So that's a whole other webinar.
Yeah.
That's a whole other
well, every state is different, but at least this is what we've seen, and it's quite different. So.
Yeah, and I'm happy we live in Canada. I really aside from like I think just in general, I think Canada is a better. You're not American. I don't have to say. I'm not going to say it. But I really think that Canada, I'm a very proud Canadian.
Yeah,
So
so,
I'm happy
like,
here,
so
not
am I. We've seen some stuff. I tell you, like, houses, hands down, these states are way cheaper. You can get such a mansion for such a cheap price.
I know.
But I wish it was,
yeah.
closer so we can commute. But other than that, I'm hoping that, if prices are a little bit more reasonable, then we can buy something here because
I agree.
I started
agree.
investing in Canada, and I would like to continue doing that. But at the same time, my model is if I don't cash flow, I can't buy it.
Absolutely,
So,
I agree with you.
That's where my strategy is. So,
did we talk about the 10-year rule? The 10-year mark?
No, but tell me about it because that is a very interesting thing.
Yeah, so I think, and I don't want to say across the board, but in the GTA, when you look historically, for people who like statistics, the number, so there's a few other realtors that are, depends on who you talk about, who you talk to about real estate. There's the marker from 7 to 10 years. Yeah. So if you hold on to a property, and even if there's, let's say, whatever, somebody's buying something right now, and then there's a crash does happen in a few months by whatever, 10% or 20%, something like that. You'll always not just recover, but you'll double your money in 10 years. And that's my opinion. Don't quote me on that. It's because of statistics. And we all know that statistics might not be the same, especially when the world is changing. So jobs are changing, lifestyles are changing. We all need a place to live. That's always a constant. So if you think of investing, and I actually just posted this yesterday on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. It's Colette Rabba. You can find me. It's pretty easy to find me on Instagram. The thing I posted yesterday was 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. So that's a statistic that it's nothing new. Everybody knows that. Yeah. But it's what do you do with that? So if you sell in the wrong time, obviously you can lose. If you have a bad tenant, obviously you can lose. So it's never a guaranteed situation, but if you take care of yourself, I need a place to live. And then you can also, we talk about in our workshop, we talk about having a second suite in our properties. Yeah. So both you and I, believe in that. And maybe that's what's going to come down the line too. So instead of people putting their houses on the market, they'll rent out their basement, and rent will be cheaper.
I hope so, because things are getting ridiculous when it comes down to rents here in the GTA.
But that's the thing. If I buy $1 million property and I can only rent, the condo, there's condos now for $1 million. I can only get, I can't even cover my nut. I can't even cover the monthly fees.
But when you look at it, it's all about economics, Colette. I understand that the property is that, and you as an investor, I totally understand that you have to cover your cost. But on the other end, you also have to understand that people, they make certain amount of money. And out of that, like right now, we're over 50%, statistics says that 50% or more, we are assigning to our housing. And that is just to cover your rent, your mortgage, and your utilities. That doesn't include anything else, right? When in finances, we're being taught that 30% at max, if you can keep it under 30%, but nobody is there. But the majority of people are within 50% or more of what they're bringing in the house. So you can see that right now, if we have any changes in the economy, you lose your job and you're not able to get a job that is the same amount of money, then
but that's
it's so difficult to maintain, to maintain the same standard of living.
So either you can't find housing that is to that 30% mark, or you have to increase your income. And how do you do that?
And I think that is one of the things that I usually recommend to people, to try to look for something else that they're able to do. I decided to go into real estate on top of my regular active income coming in, because if something stops, then you have something else. And now I think that people are becoming more aware of that.
Right, right. Okay, I don't know if your connection is not great, but maybe we should call it, because I see that you're freezing a little bit. Do you see that
Oh,
on my end too, or no?
yeah, I see the same thing, but I don't know how it works. So far I can hear you okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
this
but
this
what's
actually
our
was a
timeline?
great it was a great chat. So we're gonna
Yeah,
come next week with more news and see what we can find out, what happened in this week coming.
yeah, and then I'm still going through the inspection. So the inspection's actually tomorrow on this property that we put an
Okay.
offer on.
Well, let
So
us
I
know
will report
how it
back.
went. So
Yeah, for sure.
okay, great.
Yay! I hope
Okay, well,
everybody got something out of it. And
yeah.
if, again, if anybody wants to reach out to Araceli or I just to ask a question or
Yeah, just
anything.
send us a message, and if you want to see something specific, we can do it next time.
Yay! Sounds good.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Okay, see ya.